Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today? We are live, and sorry, I was a couple minutes late. I was trying to get in, and YouTube wouldn't let me in. So doggone them. But lot of information tonight, and so be prepared to. A lot of links. I'm going to be sharing a lot of tips, a lot of things that we do and things to help you save money, help you prepare better, really focus on budget, but also focus on long term preparedness. And this is what's going to cause or help people to win in regards to this incredible food inflation that's taking place right now. And so it's absolutely crazy. Excuse me, got a little bit of a dry mouth there. But the feds, let's wait for a couple more people to come in the room tonight before I get rolling. So, if you're watching this, do me a favor and like, subscribe, and share, and then ring that little bell so that you know when I'm posting a new video. So, let me get a little more comfy. But we got three people in the room. Do me a favor if you can hear me and everything, type in the comments below or type in the comments below and let me know that you're hearing me okay. So it looks like they've changed something here. So here we go. Now I can see it. But uh, it's interesting. The latest Fed report or has come out, and they were expecting the numbers or the inflation numbers to go down, and they didn't. They rose 0.5%. And so, hey, Paul, hey, Joshua, good to see you here. I've switched my camera around so that I can see the comments now. And so I'm not used to looking over this way. I'm usually looking at that way. But this way, I'm going to see the comments and welcome people in and everything. But as I was saying, the Fed report has come out and they were hoping that inflation would slow down. And of course, it hasn't. And so it's gone up something like 0.5%. And currently, the current rate of inflation, according to the Fed, is 6.25. And where in reality, it's a lot higher than that. You know that. I know that. And so, but however they juggle those numbers, which is interesting when they do talk about the numbers, they don't include food or energy. And so a lot of times they don't include the cost of gas. They don't include the cost of heating oil or natural gas or anything like that. And they don't include the cost of food, which in all the areas of massive inflation, those are the areas that are really bad. And so it's very convenient for them to say, oh, it's only 6.25, or where in reality it's far worse if you would count in food, fuel, energy, and so forth. So, hey Thomas, how you doing, bud? So, but it's what's going to happen, as you know and I know, is that it is going to also affect food, and food prices are going to go up even higher. And it's interesting. I was doing some research, and there's a great report. And what I'll do is I'll link these in the descriptions below, and also I'll pin it to the top so you guys can see this report. But there is a report on food inflation in the United States from 1968 to 2023. And I just pulled the numbers from 2016 to current. And it's rather interesting that the prior administration, inflation or food inflation was rather low. The average was actually 0.3. And so, yet with the current administration, we are now looking at least 10.1, and this is for January, 10.1% of food inflation. So the cost of food, and again, you know, and I know that food has gone up a lot higher, But again, how they figure these numbers out, I guess they dollar cost average or something, I don't know. But food inflation under the current administration is up to 10.1%. So, it's probably something more like 15 to 18 to even 20%, to be honest. Hey, Cynthia. Hey, folks, that's my wife right there. Hey, that's my wife right there. So she's going to help me out tonight because I'm going to be sharing a lot of links and a lot of information with you. So, but I want to make sure that you guys know this. And let's see here. Actually, let me go back to that. Let me get this for myself. I forgot to print it out for myself. Um, but it's rather interesting that again under the prior administration. Hold on a sec. Didn't want to hear. I might hear my printer going, but here, give me a second here. I need to get these notes here. But under the prior administration, we really didn't have bad inflation at all, as you guys know. And then under this new administration, our inflation rate has gone through the roof, and the cost of food is just going even crazier. And that's because, one, not only is it inflation, but you also I've talked about the cost and the lack of fertilizer out there. I've talked about the cost of seed. I think I was talking to a rancher about a month ago, month and a half ago, and the cost of corn seeds, which he feeds his cows and everything, has gone up from $800 or $1,000 a bag to $2,000 of seed corn. And this is corn that he uses to grow to feed his cattle and things. But on top of that, the fertilizer costs are going up. And then on top of that, the cost of diesel is going up. So it's become almost insanely expensive for him to raise cattle. And so what we're going to start seeing here is people or ranchers and farmers are going to actually start cutting back on their production, and because they just can't afford the ever rising costs. There was another rancher or farmer that I was talking to, and they had something like 8,000 acres that they farmed, and they're just in their fertilizer costs. Their fertilizer cost was somewhere about 25 to $30,000 a year. Well, this year when they went to go buy fertilizer, it was over 100,000, yeah, over $100,000 just to buy fertilizer. That's not including seed, that's not including fuel or anything like that. And so more and more ranchers and farmers are basically being pushed out of business because it is becoming too costly to farm. So they're going to only spend maybe what they spent last year, but that means that they're not going to be able to farm or ranch as much as they did the year prior. So what does that mean? Because they are not going to be farming as much land or raising as much cattle. That means that the cost of food is going to go up even higher. But with the latest Fed report coming out, that's going to seriously affect food production, food cost as well. So let's see, Thomas, small world. Yeah. But I'm going to keep looking over here at the comments so I make sure I catch everybody and everything. But tonight, what I really wanted to talk about too is what is it that we can do in the long run. And I'm going to try to share some short-term solutions as well as long-term solutions, but in the long run. But there's on an article, and it's on my website, and I didn't. Let's see here. Um, it talks about the 33 things that we know about the coming food shortages, and um, let's see here. Hard red wheat is going to be drastically reduced. We know that the tomato crops are already going to be drastically reduced because of the farming or the lack of farming in California. The worst corn harvest ever took place last year. Shipments of carrots are down 45%. Shipments of sweet corn are down 20%. And so last year, we know that so many crops and so forth were not produced, and because of that, that is gonna seriously affect, again, the cost of food, and I'm sorry, drastically, cost, and, it's gonna just cause prices to go up even higher on top of the inflation. Now, how this is gonna affect a lot of people is that it's going to we've gotten to the point, so many families now have gotten to the point where they're buying food on credit card, and because of that, their credit card rates are going up higher, and, with the credit card rates going up higher, people are gonna be spending more money on food and through interest rates, and as interest rates rise, credit card interest also rise. Now, you may say, "Oh, I've locked this APR in," or something like that. No, if you're using a credit card, they have the right to raise those rates, and as things come along or as things go along, they will raise those rates. Now, what I'm gonna do here, here's the link to the article that I'm talking about, where it shows 33 items that are already going to be effective and cause even more food shortage this year. So, go check that out. And again, I'll put all these links in the bottom or in the description, and I'll also pin it so that you guys can reference these yourself. Again, do your own research. Don't take my word for it or anything, but do your own research and, let yourselves see what is going on. But by doing your own research, you're able to also educate your family, educate your friends and everything. I'm working hard to help the prepper community so that they I want to see more preppers. I would rather have allies than enemies. And so this is one of the major drives of why I do what I do is to build the prepper community. And one thing I do want to share is if you're living in an area and you're looking for a community, then what I highly suggest is looking into is preppernet.net, and I belong to preppernet. I'm actually one of the city leaders here in the Roanoke Salem area, and our goal is to unite people, unite preppers, and build prepper groups all over the nation. But check out preppernet.net, and very, very active. I want to say they got something like 70 to 100,000 people on their boards now, and people are constantly trying to bring in more people, do more things in each city. You'll see that they do local events and everything. The city leaders try to do local events at least monthly, if not they're supposed to do them at least every 3 months, but they're really encouraged, the city leaders are encouraged to do meetings once a month, and these are trainings. So, ham radio, maybe firearms, or maybe gardening, or bushcraft, or so forth and so on, and so I encourage you to go check out preppernet.net and look into it and see if there is a local community in your area, and if there isn't, then contact the admins there at preppernet.net and look into maybe being a city leader yourself and get things going. It's a great way to meet other preppers. It's a great way to network with other people. And out of that, you're going to also start creating a barter group or training groups, and then security groups, ham clubs, or ham, because there's a lot of ham operators on PrepperNet. And so, look into this and it will help you do this. But the reason I say this is by having a group of preppers, you're going to be able to barter trade and so forth. So one of the things is, I highly encourage that you plant a garden. And I wrote an article titled "It's That Time Again. Start planting your spring garden now." And what you can do is go to that article, and Cynthia will put the link to that article in the comments there so that you can find that. But I make a lot of recommendations on getting your spring garden going. I mean, I know that we're getting ours going. In fact, Cynthia just did a what 35 winter sowing containers. So she's winter sowing. She already put her winter sowing out. Tad, no, not really, not a tad late. But what we're concerned with is this year's been a rather kind of warm winter. So it's been up and down, up and down. But today we're sitting at 32 degrees and or 35 degrees. I'm looking over here at Alexa. It's 35 degrees here. And so uh, for winter sowing, it's a great way to get your fruits and veggies moving a month faster than what would, instead of waiting to sow the seeds, say in April, which is our last frost date is April 6th. And so that's a great way to get moving. Maybe what I'll do is I'll have Cynthia on here sometime and have her show you some winter sowing and how to do that and everything. But it's a great way to get your plants going early so that you can get them in the ground sooner, and then they're hardened and used to your weather versus seeds you may buy in Florida or Oregon or wherever they're coming from. And they're used to that environment. Whereas by getting things winter sown, the seeds become hardened and become used to your environment. And again, this goes back to PrepperNet, and I'm big circle around here. Um, by planting a garden, you're going to have excess. And once you're able to have access, you're going to be able to can and store and everything. But still, if you've got like those crazy zucchinis or something, you've got at least something to maybe trade with other preppers and say, hey, man, I got a bunch of zucchinis. Can I trade you some tomatoes? And so these are things that I'm going to be doing. I know in my city area is setting up barter groups or trade groups or so forth, and then also do something like seed exchanges and things. But I highly encourage everybody to really get a garden going. I mean, it's critical. The grocery bills are going to get higher and higher. And if people are using their credit cards, the interest rates, because of what the feds are going to do, is they're going to raise interest rates again. I don't know how high, but they're going to raise them again, which is going to cause credit card rates and everything to go up even higher, and so forth and so on. So let's see what people are saying right here. Um, Families are struggling all over. Joshua says families are struggling all over. 100 head, 300 acres. The price of feed is going up, but fertilizer went through the ceiling. Yeah. Been trying to convince them to start collecting. Let's see. I'm down the road with Kentucky Prepper Network. Hey, good job, bud. Grew it, but collecting our manure. Hey, Thomas, copy that. I started moving soil in raised beds. So great idea. I really, really super encourage people. Next weekend, we are going to start, moving. I'm expanding our garden big time. And so we're getting some friend of ours is going to come over and help me get the land going and do some partially raised beds and stuff, because I'm going to really produce a large garden this year. And when I start doing this, I'll start doing some more lives so that you can see what we're doing and how we're going and everything. And then also, I'm going to be doing some forest gardening because we got a little block of woods next to us and a little creek that runs through that. And so I'm going to start looking into items that we can forest garden, such as ramps. And then I'm going to really look into fungus. So like hen of the woods, shiitake, possibly morels. Morels grow here already, but it'd be really great to cultivate some morels and get them moving so that I have a morel patch in the woods and stuff. So, but the more that you can do to augment that grocery bill, the more money that you're going to save. And so it's super important to do that. And by doing that, it's going to save you money over the long run, and your family's going to eat healthier too. So I'm really encouraging people to rip up that backyard. As much as people don't want to do that, rip up that backyard and plant a serious garden. And by having a bigger garden starting out, yes, it's a lot of work and everything, but unless you're a seasoned gardener, it's gonna take you a couple years just to get used to gardening if you've never done it before, because you're gonna have a lot of trial and error and everything, so the sooner you do it, the better. Another thing that I recommend is looking into grow bags. So if you live in an apartment complex or you've got a very, very small area or something, grow bags are a great way to go. And then also these stackable, these stackable, they're not really hydroponic growers, but you can grow lettuce, you can grow strawberries, you can grow some herbs and stuff in some of these stackables. And someone on Facebook in one of my prepper groups said that Dollar Tree had these stackable things, and they're kind of like triangular looking and things, but they had them for $1.49 each. And so you're able to stack these things on top of each other, and then you water the top of them, and you just kind of let that water through, and it basically waters everything. Now you do have to water the whole tower and stuff, but it kind of self waters in, because it's dripping down through to the other pots and so forth. But it's a great solution if you live in an apartment or you've got not very much land in the back or anything. And then also grow bags. Grow bags are very inexpensive. You can buy something like 10 of them, 10 7-gallon grow bags for something like $20, $25. And but those are a great way to go. Tomatoes, onions, garlic, potatoes, all these things do really well in grow bags. And they got handles on them so you can move them around and things. But the more that you can grow, the better. And it will really help you augment your grocery bill. Now, for those of you here, let's see. Hey, Trish, or the Grinch, excuse me. Hey, Grinch. Don't wait till the fall to find out if you can't garden. Yeah, no kidding there. The Grinch, tiny heart until I met my wife. I bring plants in around October and grow in the basement with lights and heat and fan. Good job, Thomas. Good job. I mean, eventually, I would like to set up some form of grow light system or do something like that. It's really interesting. We've had a very mild winter, but I'm really expecting March because last March was crazy. We had snow, we had frost, we had it really dipped down, and so what we're seeing right now, and it's kind of got us concerned, is a lot of plants are starting to bud and come up early. And if we have some hard freezes, then that's going to really affect these things. And so this is why my wife is today and yesterday was winter sowing. And winter sowing, just real quick, is you get a gallon jug and you put some dirt in it, plant your seeds, and then seal it up with some duct tape. And it acts as a little mini greenhouse. And so my wife yesterday actually did 35 milk jugs to get her plants and everything going. And so I'm gonna do some of that with some of my plants. Now, some plants in vegetables are you really have to look and see what can you winter sow. For example, you can't really winter sow tomatoes. Tomatoes will freeze. You really can't winter sow a lot of the squashes or anything because again they'll freeze on the vine or the shoots will freeze. Peppers do really well. Eggplant does really well. I don't know about corn, but I've been slowly researching what I can do and what I can put in. And then another website that I would highly encourage you, and I'm not making any money off of this. Grow uh, growveg.com. And this is the website that I use. And what is really great is I'm doing a lot of I'm doing a spring garden, a midsummer garden, and a fall garden. And so I have all my plants and everything on the board. And what Grow Veg does, and it really helps me a lot, is that it'll send me emails reminding me, okay, you need to get these in the ground. You need to sow these things. You need to pull these plants up and plant these. And so they send you an email twice a month. and telling you and reminding you, hey, you need to get ready for this, or hey, you need to get ready for that. But it's a super easy app to use. You can totally lay your garden out. It's very picture perfect. And I thought I had a picture of my garden plan, but you can really plan out your garden, see what it's going to look like. And what's neat is you drag a plant over and it automatically includes the spacing that you need so that you're not crowding your plants or anything like that. And so it's a very, very user friendly. And I want to say the it's something like $49 a year, but if you buy 2 years, it's something like 65 or something. You get a little bit of a break, but if you do 2 years versus 1 year, but it's totally worth it. And I really highly encourage people. Lots of tips and tricks, lots of information on how to. They even do square foot gardening. If you're setting up your plan as a square foot garden, they have that. If you have covered gardens and everything, they also have that. And so there's a lot of things that they calculate automatically if your garden is covered, or if you're doing square foot, that method, or so forth. But they've done a really good job on this app, and I've been using it for a couple years now, and I just love it. And no, I'm not making any money off of it or anything like that. So um, it's just something I use. Now, tonight, what I want to do also is share a lot of things that we are doing here. Now, I don't want you to think all I'm doing is just pushing product or anything. My goal is to share with you what we are doing, because I've been prepping for a long time and I have made so many mistakes. So, what I don't want to see is have you make those very same mistakes as well. And so, when I'm showing you something, then just kind of trust me and roll with it. And I don't mean that badly or anything, but it's just experience. And I think I've told you my Ronco dehydrator story, and I went through 3 Ronco dehydrators before I finally bought an Excalibur. And it's had I just purchased the Excalibur, because it was already on my radar, but I was looking at it, and at that time it was like $195 or $185, I forget. But it's like, oh wow, man, that's a lot of money. And I'll just go out and buy this Ronco. Well, for the cost of the Roncos, because the Roncos cost somewhere about 45, $50 each, I burnt out 3 of them, and I could have just bit the bullet and bought the Excalibur. And so some of the things I'm gonna show you tonight, I really encourage you to just bite the bullet and do it, because these are things that will get you through to the long term. And that's what I'm wanting you to do, is think long-term thinking. Don't just think, several weeks or several months or just 1 year ahead or anything like that. Look at how you can continue, because all of us here prep, and all of us got a pantry and things, and or we're growing our pantry. Well, what you need to think about is what happens when your pantry runs dry. How are you going to replace it? How are you going to do that? And so by gardening, big one, I really encourage hunting and fishing. If you don't want to hunt, then learn how to fish and get out there. I mean, that's free protein, folks. And it's the cost of a bullet or a cost of a hook, and a license. But, I really encourage you to do that. Another thing I really highly encourage is learning to wild forage. And in fact, do I have that book here? Let me see. I've showed this book to you before, and this is called Incredible Edibles. And this is Samuel Thayer. Samuel Thayer is like the man, the guru of wild edibles, and he's got several books out. And so I really highly encourage you to really look into his books and start learning the local vegetation that you can eat in your area. And so one of the things that I know, that we've got like spice bush, and so I was really excited about that. I've never had spice bush before, but he points out things, of course, like dandelions and miner's lettuce and crest and some of these other things. But really look and see what are the wild edibles in your area, and start harvesting those as well in spring, summer, and fall, so that you can add to your pantry. And so let's see, Utopia Collection, Caleb Warlock. Warnock has a great book on winter gardening for colder zones 3 and 4. Um, yeah, buy once, cry once. Exactly, Joshua. I mean, there's been a number of times. One, I've bought many times, or I've bought cheap Chinese stuff, and yeah, it busts on me. And so I really, these are long-term investments, but the things that I'm going to share with you tonight will help you in the long run, and they pay for themselves. Oh my goodness, they pay for themselves. Um, Let's see. Sam Thayer's is awesome. Utopia Confections. If cheap is all you can do, do it. And I agree with that. If cheap is all you can do, then yeah, do it. It's better than nothing. But something that you may consider doing is doing a garage sale. Spring's coming up. Spring cleaning is coming up. Why not put together a garage sale and then specifically use the proceeds from the garage sale to better your preps and to get some of these things and so forth. So, but there's lots of ways to look around, and Facebook Marketplace is a great place to sell stuff. Vintage clothing. I was amazed at the what people were paying for vintage clothing or just clothing in and of itself. And it's but kind of look around your house. What can you sell? What can you get rid of? I mean, you're not really using it anyways. So why not try to, trade it in or get some money for it and then, do that. And so another thing that I'm going to talk to you about tonight. First, there is another article for those who are new here. I wrote an article titled Food Prices Will Escalate Dramatically. Prepare Now, a budget preparedness list for beginners. Rather long article, but I really break it down and really help you. And what I've done is kind of give you a kickstart with 4 weeks. Here's week one. Here's what you buy. Here's week two. Here's what you buy. And then I give you a longer list of things to start continuing that week by week purchasing thing. But Cynthia will put that link there in the comments as well. But on my website, and I want to mention because I've had a number of people ask me about survival food or long-term storage food, and I've tried a lot of them, and I don't care for a lot of them. I don't really care for anything made by Wise and or Provident Pantry. And in fact, a lot of companies purchase from Provident Pantry. They're a very large freeze-dried company based in Utah, and so a lot of companies will purchase from them and then put their own label on it. And so I don't really care for them. I really don't care for Wise. I really don't care. Very popular one is, oh gosh, Patriot Survival or something like that. You see their ads everywhere, but I've talked to a number of people, and I have to say have not tried their food yet, but I am hearing a lot of negatives, and it's sounding to me like what they've done is purchased from Provident Pantry and then Patriot Supply, My Patriot Supply. Yes, thank you, Joshua. Um, Lot of people not liking it, over salty, very low taste, very cardboardy, and or very just sawdusty. And so, but the biggest thing is salt. A lot of people are complaining of the salt product and everything. So I'm really suspecting that My Patriot Supply probably purchases from Provident Pantry, and because that's the indicators of Provident Pantry: over salty, very cardboardy, very sawdusty, and little flavor. And so now, if you like My Patriot Supply, then good. I don't want to steer you away, but like I said, a lot of foods out there I've tried, and there's only two companies that I like, and one of them is Thrive Life. And anybody who's interested in Thrive Foods, and then also Thrive is great because they give you a business opportunity and where you can be a consultant and sell survival food. Now, the positive thing about it is the food is great. And then the other positive is you make 10% commissions, on everything you sell, and then also about 7% in free food. And so if you get a lot of sales, you're gonna get a lot of free food. So it's a great way to build your pantry up and everything, and who doesn't need to eat? Especially now, people are really in tune with survival food and everything. So if you're looking for a side hustle, contact me, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Thrive. And, I've been a Thrive, consultant now since, gosh, long time, you know, almost I was one of their first web consultants, and so but very good company. Food is on the expensive side, but another company that I really like is Augustin Farms, and I'm really, really sold out on Augustin Farms. In fact, Amazon is one of the best places to get Augustin Farms because they have sales all the time. Now, at towards the end, what I'm gonna do is share with you, some of the sales that are going on today, and Cynthia will put those links in. But uh, the thing with Augustin Farms and Amazon is, the sales change in like 24 hours, 48 hours. So one day the price is going to be like 50% off, 65% off, and then maybe 2 days later it's going to go back up. And so you really got to keep an eye on the Augustin Farm sales and everything. What I did on how I keep track of it is I've actually created a page of Augustin Farm stuff. And do me a favor, Cynthia, and post that Augustin Farms link. And this is the page that I use because I'm always watching the sales for Augustin Farms, and there's some great products. I know I've met Mark Augustin several times. Good guy. It's very family business. I believe in what they're doing, but overall, their food is great, and so it's just good tasting food. And the thing is you do not want to skimp on your food. So many people who go out and say, I'm going to buy 500 pounds of wheat and 500 pounds of beans and, rice and I've got my preps. Like, no, you don't, bud. And so you need variety, you need, good stuff. And the thing is, if you go cheap with cheap food, that's what you're going to get. Real salty, cardboardy, sawdusty, yeah, stuff. And so I really encourage you to focus on getting good solid food versus going out and getting the cheap stuff. Try not to buy that AR or anything like that. Invest in food first. Get your food going, get a good solid pantry going, then go out and buy all that cool guy gear and stuff because very tempting, believe me. I know. Cool guy gear. But your pantry is the most important thing. And so I have a page on my website for Augustin Farms, and I check that page about every other day just to see what prices have changed and everything like that. And if you go there and you see the same prices, hold the shift button down and refresh the page, and all the new prices will come in. And so you can just look through, oh, wow, that's cheap. Oh, wow, that's cheap. Oh, wow, that's cheap. But that's what I highly recommend. And so, um, things that people talk about also is lack of space, or where do I put it, or how do I store it, and everything. And what I'm looking at, and I haven't purchased these yet, but I've done a lot of research, is first in, first out can rotators. And these will fit in cabinets, they will fit on shelves, they will fit in a lot of areas, they will even fit in a refrigerator and everything. But there's a first in, first out can rotator that I found that I'll probably be getting quite a few of these to help me rotate my cans and things. My goal is actually to do one of these wall hanger food rotators. I mean, I'm sure you saw pictures of those. I've already got the wood for that, and I just need to build it and hang it and stuff. But I'm going to build my own can rotator. But I'm also looking at these. But it's called first in first out can dispenser. And do me a favor, Cynthia, post that link for me. And then what I'll do is I'll put all these links also in the description, so if you missed it, you can come back, find it, and everything. But a can rotator is great because it helps you rotate your food. And if you're on a tight budget, then I recommend what I call the $5 rule, and or 5 can rule. So, allocate $5 or determine an amount that you can do every time you step a foot in the grocery store. So that's why I say $5. And so every time, even if you're just going for a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk, you need to buy $5 worth of food for your pantry. And or what you do is buy 5 cans of food every week or every time you go shopping or something. But these are great ways to get your pantry going and everything to just you'll be amazed how fast your pantry will grow when you're just doing these little baby steps, and baby steps will get you a long way. But if you do not rotate your food, then you don't know if you're eating old stuff or new stuff, and it gets all mixed up and everything. One thing that I do is also I mark on my cans the date that I buy them so that I'm able to rotate that way. But having a first in, first out is a lot easier. And this can dispenser is only what, $19.91, and very good. And what I loved about it versus a lot of the other first in, first outs, it's got a little shelf on top. And so you're still not wasting space. And it allows you to put even more stuff there. And so it's a really good system, really good thing. And then going on, I highly encourage people to look into dry goods. I really encourage you to get wheat, rice, beans. I'm a big fan of barley, and then oats or oatmeal or oats, and then pasta. Pasta is the kibble for people, and pasta is super expensive. And like one of the things, a 1 pound pack of pasta for us will feed us for 2 days. And so when I cook up the pasta, I'll split it, make one dinner one night, and then use the other pasta for another day. And if you buy just like five packs of pasta, and if you're like us, and it takes a half a pound of pasta to feed you, then what you're looking at is counting pasta bags. So if you buy 10 pasta bags, you've got 20 dinners. And so I tend to count dinners. I don't look at calories and everything, but I count meals, let's say it better. And so I look at breakfasts, I count breakfasts. Sometimes I really don't do lunch. I would rather do an early lunch and call it dinner versus an actual lunch. So I focus on breakfast and I focus on dinner, supper, whatever you call it in your area. And then, kind of snackies or things to kind of get you through the day too, if you need to, energy drinks or smoothies or something to kind of as that midday, help you push through. But I really encourage you to get dry goods, and uh, big time fan of wheat. I mean, and also I'm a big time fan of barley. But these dry goods, a lot of people, how do you store them? How do you do this? And kind of do it on the inexpensive way. And so this is one example here, and this is just a plastic bin that I've got. And what I recommend is if you've got dry goods, this is a great way to start. Now, what I've done here too is I've got a 2500 cc oxygen absorber in here, and the oxygen absorber will do two things. One, it sucks the air out, but every dry good has critters, no matter what. And so a lot of people go through the hassle of putting this in the freezer, freezing it for a couple weeks, and taking it out and drying it. You don't have to do that, folks. All you need to do is put this in, put a larger oxygen absorber in here. It sucks the air out and it kills the vermin. And so, it's a great thing to do. Again, this is a 2500 cc oxygen absorber, and it will suck the air out and preserve your food. And so dry goods last really long. Now you can save Coke bottles, you can save these plastic bottles, you can do all kinds of things here and save these, and it will help with your dry goods. And so, and again, you know, but this is just an example. I see a lot of people who use Coke bottles and orange juice bottle. Anything that maybe has like a rubber seal on it is good to go. But Coke bottles work great. 2-liter Coke bottles, people fill those with rice, stick some oxygen absorbers in there with them, and then you're good to go. And then oxygen absorber. This is, do I have the bag here? These are the oxygen absorbers. And what I like about this company, and Cynthia will put the link into this one, these come individually vacuum sealed. And so what I normally do is keep my oxygen absorbers in a jar. But these ones are individually sealed, vacuum sealed, so that they remain fresh no matter what. And so this is a great company, and I really love that, how they do it, and so they always stay fresh and everything. But this is a 2500 cc oxygen absorber, and is this is basically my go-to for a lot of my 5-gallon buckets. I put several of these in 5-gallon buckets. They recommend about 3000 cc for a 5-gallon bucket. I put several of these in just to, be safe and really suck the air out. And then with my 5-gallon buckets, I also do gamma lids. And these are a godsend. And you seat them on your let me see if I can do it here. This is a rubber rim. This is a plastic rim, and it's got a rubber seal in it. And you put it on your 5-gallon bucket. I don't know if you see the rubber seal. See, there's the rubber seal. But you hammer it on with a rubber hammer on your 5-gallon bucket. And so then you're able to then screw on the lid, and the lid itself has a rubber seal also. So it becomes airtight, critter tight, so your bugs and everything are not going to get in here. And these are a total godsend. I love these things, and all my 5-gallon buckets. And so the great thing is, if you need to get into them, open it, close it, and so forth. And but you're able to do this and gain access to your 5-gallon bucket really quickly, and be able to get access to your dry goods. Whereas with a standard lid, you're constantly popping that lid. It's a pain in the butt. You break your fingernails off. Even with that stupid wrench, they're a pain in the rear. So I really highly recommend getting gamma lids for your 5-gallon buckets. Keep an eye out at Walmart. Walmart usually will have food grade plastic buckets, and that's what I store my food in. And if you don't know if it's food grade, look at the bottom and then take a picture of it. And then what you can do is do a search on Google and see if it's food grade or not. But start learning the symbols for food grade plastic. But Walmart, at least our Walmart, always has them. And they sell for, they go up and down in price. They're about $3.95 to $4.50, depending. But I'm always picking up, food grade buckets and more gamma lids, and it's where I store all my dry goods in. And so very, very great. But if you're going to do that, again, get oxygen absorbers so that keeps your food fresh and everything. Let's see what's going on here. Date and price to keep track of inflation on packages. Buy durum wheat and grind it for making pasta. Yeah, totally agree. I mean, we've got some. Have a few cases of cans of August Farm, but I haven't opened them. Has anyone tasted their black bean mix? Interesting that you are going to say that. That's something I'm going to talk about tonight as well. Really good. Yes, I have. It's good stuff. And in fact, what you can do with the black bean mix is mix some ground beef with it, and it extends your ground beef. And so you're getting some great flavor, great nutrition, and you're extending, you can feed a family of 10 with 1 pound of hamburger in August Farms black bean mix if you mix the two together. They turn out really great, super tasty. And so, yeah, I've got several cans of those. In fact, I was going to show them to you tonight. That's one of they have them on sale. And so I've got a number of things from August Farms that I wanted to share with you tonight that are on super sale. And so they're always having super sales. Joshua says, I do 1 to 5 gallon with Mylar bags, 3 to 500 cc per gallon. Yeah. So you could do Mylar bags. If you're buying a lot of dry goods in massive bulk, and so I'm saying, if you have over 300 pounds, because an average person will use about 300, or average family about 300 pounds a year. But if you're really looking to extend that, and you're doing the fat past the 5 year mark, what I do is I put my grains or dry goods in a Mylar bag, and then you can suck the air out of it or throw some oxygen absorbers in it, and then you can use an iron to seal it, like an iron, and then you put them in a 5 gallon bucket, and then they're ready to go for a very, very long time. But what we do is we rotate our pantry. And so our pantry is our grocery store. And so we're in our pantry a lot, but we're always rotating, we're always adding to, and so forth and so on. So this is why I like gamma lids, and because we're always in it and things. Barley is excellent, Tom says. Yeah, I love barley, man. Oh my goodness, I love barley. It's great stuff. You can do it in soups, you can do it in cereals. There's all kinds of things you can do with barley. Um, let's see, Dale. Dale, how you doing, bud? I have a few kinds of August farm. Yeah, the black bean mix. I'll have to try the mixture. Yeah, give it a try. I really do like the Ogson Farms foods. So I'm a really big fan. But they have great food prices, but you got to keep checking the Amazon link. That's why I made that Ogson page for myself. But if you go there, RaymondMhor.com, and just click on that shop link, you'll see the Ogson Farm page, and I've got a boatload of Ogson Farm stuff. And so I'm always tracking to see what's on sale, and if I see something really good, like cream of wheat, that's a sale still going on. You can get a number 10 can of cream of wheat for like 8 something, which is a steal. But other things that we have around the house that we use that will really help, and this is a jar sealer. And the great thing is that it has the pump, but if you've got a food savers usually have a little hole so that you can suck the air out. And so they even have the hose for the food saver. But I do a lot of stuff in mason jars. Unless I'm doing super long term, I really don't care for Mylar bags, because I've had Mylar bags pop or break, or and then your food's gone. So I've just learned, jars. And so I love jars. And this is a great little toolkit. So it's got the little pump to suck the air out, or if you got a food saver, it's got the little hose so that you can suck it. But you put these over your small. This is for the small jar, small mouth, and large mouth. And you're able to then put it over there, suck the air out, and then do that. But it's a great little tool for you there. And let's see here. Let's me back up here 1 second here real quick. Let's see, copy. So those of you who are interested in Ogson Farms, boom. The first in, first out can, boom. Gamma lids. Now this is a 6-pack of gamma lids, because I go through gamma lids all the time. And then oxygen absorbers, and these are the ones that I have, and I love that they're individually wrapped, so they'll protect them. And then this is the food saver vacuum jar sealer. Now, food savers are running about, and I don't know if you guys have them or anything, we use them a lot, but food savers run about $90 to $150. But I just saw today that they have the food saver compact, which is a really nice system, and it's really good. And it's going for what, $69? $69. So if you're looking to get a food saver, and what food savers are is they suck the air out of, see this is like a little food saver bag, so they put this thing in here, suck the air out, and then seal it. And so food savers are great. I love our food saver. We use it all the time, especially with freezing meat or anything like that. You suck the air out, put a date on it, throw it in your freezer, and that will really extend the time of your meat, or extend the time. I did a lot of our corn last year, so I did a lot of food saver corn, And then a lot of veggies and stuff, you just blanch them real quick, throw them in the food saver, suck the air out, seal it, mark it, throw it in the freezer. And so these are great ways for you to um, you know, uh, save food and get these things. So the food saver, but the food saver link is great because this is a super sale. And again, if you keep your eyes on these things, Amazon has some really good sales. That's about a 40-50% markdown from the regular cost. So keep an eye out for that. And Cynthia's Mormons have great food service. Yes, they do. And they are you know, you're able to go there and buy dry goods. Every state has a cannery, or I forget what the name of it is officially, but every state, but some of the bigger states have several. But like our state here, our cannery is in Richmond. And so that's about a 2-hour drive for us. But if you're looking to buy dry goods like wheat, rice, beans, lentils, barley, so forth, the Mormon food pantry will sell to you. And so it's a great way to do it. And then they also have the cans and everything that you can buy there. So if you wanted to can your wheat or can your rice or something, they have 10-gallon or the number 10 cans or the 1-gallon cans that you're able to then put in there and can up your food and label it and so forth. So it's a great thing to do there. But if you don't, where we get our food is from the Mennonites. And so the Mennonites we've got Mennonite grocery stores, Mennonite stores that are really good places to buy your dry goods. I'm sorry, Cynthia just handed me a note. But you go to your Mennonite store now, they have a lot of the dry goods, a lot of the baking goods, a lot of meat, like making sausage and meat preserving goods and stuff. Because these Mennonites, that's what they do. And so our local Mennonite store, I love. I mean, they have all kinds of canning stuff, sausage presses, meat grinders. I mean, you name it, they've got it. And they're usually a lot less also as compared to some of the other stores out there because they're selling to Mennonites. And so it's a great way to go. And let's see, even though I'm kind of checking radio net for disaster, Amish and Mennonite stores are great. Yeah, I love them. And so we use ours, go to ours all the time. It's where I buy my wheat and everything. And right now, the price of a 50-pound bag of wheat, hard red, is about $32 for 50 pounds, which is not bad. It really isn't. And so, um, let's see here. Another thing, and I love is our Excalibur. And so there was a sale last week, and so keep an eye on Excalibur. But the sale was what, $208 for the Excalibur Economy, which is what I have and I love. And I highly recommend Excalibur like crazy. There's what I don't like metal dehydrators because dehydrators use heat. Metal is a conductor of heat. It's going to cost you more energy to run your dehydrator because it's going to heat up the metal and all this other stuff. Even if it's dual walled, metal conducts heat. So the Excaliburs don't. Another thing I don't like are the wire trays. These are a pain in the butt to clean. Food, no matter what, even you're running through the dishwasher, food is going to still get in the little crosshairs and everything. And so I don't like those sort of things. And then I also don't like dehydrators that have any electronics or digital. Because you're just asking, in some of these dehydrators, if these digitals or something break, then there goes your money. The wonderful thing about Excalibur is that it's just got one knob on off and it turn it to your temperature, and then the forced air fan and heater in the back. And if either of these things die, you can go to the Excalibur store, which I am now an ambassador, and either buy the new knob system or the new fan and heating system. Super easy, cheap. Unscrew it, pull off the old, put on the new, screw it back in, good to go. And so but I really highly encourage you to get the Excalibur. Now, this is a long-term investment, but our Excalibur has already paid for itself. And I do a lot of meals in a jar. I save all our leftovers. And if it isn't gonna, be put in the refrigerator for the next day, I usually give it 1 day. And if it's still in the refrigerator, I throw it in the dehydrator and dehydrate it. And I'm always keeping mason jars so that I'm always creating what I call meals in a jar. And so whatever our leftovers are, as long as it's not greasy or oily, you can dehydrate it and it will last a very long time. Even meat. And so what I do is, any of the meat that we have, I will always trim it up and get all the excess fat and everything off of it, and then dehydrate that, and then add those to the meals in the jar. And what you do is I put about 2 or 3 bouillon cubes in those, and then just jar it up, throw an oxygen absorber in it, and you're good to go. And when you want a quick meal and everything, just get the water going, pour the whole jar in, and boom, whammo bammo, you've got a meal. And so it's a great way to save on your food and make sure that you're not throwing away stuff or turning them into science experiments in the way back behind in the refrigerator. So the Excalibur is incredible, and I highly encourage you to do it. They're going for right now at 264. They were on sale for 204 or 208 last week or a week ago. Keep an eye if you're not on my Facebook. Friend me on Facebook. I'm always posting what I'm finding on sale if there's a super sale or anything like that on Amazon, and so that way you guys can get it and get it at a reduced price. Another thing that we just love, and I use it a lot, is our Nutrimil grain mill. It is a stone grain mill, and so it's got 2 stones, and you're able to adjust it and really dial in for fine or maybe coarse. Or so I can make cereal. I can do a coarse grind. I can do a super fine grind on that. And I love that thing. Now, what's great about this too is that I've run my grain mill on my solar battery, on my solar generator, and it runs fine. I was grinding up wheat as a test, and ground up a 4 cup of wheat, and I had it on full charge because I wanted to see how much of the battery did it suck down to grind up 4 cups of wheat at a fine grind, and or extra fine grind. And once it was done and everything, the solar generator was just hitting at 97%. So this is one of the reasons why I went for the Nutrimil, the stone one, versus some of these impact grinders. I'm not a fan of the impact grinders because you really can't control the grind. You'll kind of, but and then these things pull a lot of energy, and they're super super loud. It's like a freaking jet engine. Where the Nutrimil stone mill is relatively quiet. I mean, as compared to some of these other impact grinders. And then also I like it because I run it off my solar generator. So if we are in a SHTF situation and we need to grind our wheat, I can still use my solar generator to grind the wheat, no problem, easy peasy. And then other things, because with your garden going and everything, let's see if we got any comments here. Let's see. The Mormons have great food centers. Talk to your CP about writing off your disaster prep. We are still a federal state emergency. Yeah, that's actually good. Talk to your tax guy. If you live in an area that is under a federal emergency, your preps and everything could possibly be tax deductible based on where you live. It's a good one. Yeah, thank you, Electronic Survival. Good one. With the garden coming up and things, you're going to need a way to preserve a lot of the veggies that you're going to have. And I'm a big fan also of lactic acid fermentation. And these are these food crocks. And there's a lot of recipes out there on making sauerkraut and pickled carrots and pickled this and pickled that. But I highly recommend those. There's 2 of them that we have 2. I have my small little 2-liter one, and that 2-liter one is one I run my experiments in, and if I like what comes out, then I switch it over to my 2-gallon or my 10-liter and do a big batch of that. But it's a great way to basically preserve anything with using lactic acid fermentation. And the positive about lactic acid fermentation is it will help with the flu. It's a cure for the flu. And they've discovered that during the time of the Spanish flu, that back in the early 1900s, 1909, 1908, when the Spanish flu killed millions of people worldwide, that was a real pandemic because that, what we had here recently, but it killed millions. But they noticed that countries that did lactic acid fermentation process, so a lot of Eastern European countries as well as Asian countries, did not suffer as much from the Spanish flu or the H1N1 outbreak. And because of that, they started studying the lactic acid fermentation process and found out that it stops and it cures and prevents the flu. So this is a great way to also be healthy, because with lactic acid fermentation process, it gives you also very positive probiotics in your system, very healthy gut, and so having pickled products in your diet is really good, very healthy, and just something that is very very tasty. Try making sauerkraut sometime with pineapple. That's a good one. Um, but I've got two crocks that I use here, and then this is something else, because I'm talking about all these foods and what are you going to do and all this other stuff. This is a great book, Marlene's Magic with Food Storage. Now, this was written in what, 1996. So it's kind of hard to find, but if you can find this in your used bookstore or something, check it out and get it, because she really talks and teaches how to use your food preps, and she breaks things down like your wheats and beans and rice, soups, meats, and breakfast, lunch, dinner. But she truly teaches you how to really use all these food preps that you've prepped up, and then she also gives you a buy list on, here's the first thing, your first stage. She goes in stages, but I really like her stage method as well. So if you're looking to, start your preps and everything, this is a great book, and I highly, highly recommend it. It is kind of hard to find, but Amazon does have it, and you can buy it new, I think, and it's rather expensive. But if you buy it used, then I think it's something like $29 or something. But this is an outstanding book that I think every homesteader and prepper needs to have. And but she truly teaches how to realistically use your food preps, and it's just a great book. I mean, there's spam recipes, there's wheat recipes, there's barley recipes, there's grain recipe. I mean, you name it, she's got it in there, and no fancy pictures or anything like that, just all straight recipes. Now, as I was saying, I wanted to leave these to the end because these are super sales going on with Augustin Farms, and you want to jump on these if you're looking to buy, long-term food storage. What I really recommend you guys do is to test it out. Buy 2 cans. Buy 1 can for your pantry and 1 can to open and try. And so if you're buying these once and everything, and at least at these prices, if you really hate it, maybe feed it to your chickens or something like that, or your dogs, or something. But the first one here is Augustin Farms butter powder. Butter powder is a great thing to have on hand because it helps you with your fats. And so now the shelf life of this is probably about 5 to 7 years on the butter powder, because fats will deteriorate and go rancid and everything. So you really want to make sure that you rotate your fats and oils. But Augustin Farms right now has butter powder for number 10 can for $19.94. Very, very good price. Augustin Farms, another one is their vegetable stew blend. Now, this doesn't have any meat or anything in it, but open up a can of Spam, open up, some of maybe your other freeze dried or maybe even dehydrated meats or something like that, using this Augustin Farms vegetable stew blend. Great stuff, and it's selling for a number 10 can for $16.39. Uh, very good. We've got some. And then also, here's someone asked, let's see if I got it here. Augustin Farms Black Bean Burger Mix. And now this is also gluten-free. So if you're someone who is gluten intolerant and all this other stuff, this is gluten-free. And try it with mixing it also with meat. Now you can just do it as is, which is really tasty. But I found that it helps you extend this as well as your hamburger. And by mixing the two and making your patties with this. And so, use a pound of hamburger to about half of what they recommend on the can. And you kind of judge, some people, depending also on how fatty your hamburger is. If you got to do like an 80-20 or a 992 or whatever, low fat, high fat, depends on what you're doing. But it's going to be based on your mix ratio. But just give it a try and try that mixing. You're extending your Augustin Farms, but you're also extending your hamburger. So if you only got 1 pound of hamburger, and that 1 pound of hamburger has got to last a couple days, then mix it with some Augustin Farms and make a bunch of patties. Eat some of the patties one day, and then use your food saver to suck out the oxygen or suck it out, and save some hamburger patties for another day or so forth. But Augustin Farms, and this is 98 right now. Good super sale. Next one here is cream of wheat, and I mentioned this before. The Augustin Farms cream of wheat is selling for $8.99. A little box of cream of wheat. You've seen them out there. The name brand is going for like $6 or $7. I could not believe that. And so that's utterly ridiculous, Whereas you can get a whole number size tin can of cream of wheat for $8.99. And so that's a really, really good idea. A lot of people don't, or a lot of people tend to forget breakfast. And so this is why I look at meals. I don't count calories, I count meals. And so I look at how many meals we've got on hand. And so, but a lot of people forget breakfast. And so this is a great way to get your breakfast in, get cream of wheat. And so I know I love it. You mix a little bit of brown sugar in it, or mix a little bit of honey with it, or some cinnamon or whatever, and it's really good to go. But it's selling for $8.99. And then Augustin Farms buttermilk pancakes. Oops. Again, which is what we got here. Our family loves these things, and super hit with my daughter. But again, very good. The sale price right now is $10.66. And so jump on these things, because regular, I think they're about $15-$17 a can. So that's a really good price on the pancake mix. And the great thing with pancake mix is not only can you make pancakes, but you can also, make crepes. The thinner it is, you make crepes with that. You can also add an egg to give it some even more binding and everything. And then also, somewhat tortillas. So thin it out again, and you can make, real thin tortillas or make crepes and stuff, wraps basically. But pancakes mix is a great thing to have on hand, and I highly encourage it. But for $10.66, you can't go wrong. How much is a box of Aunt Jemima, or whatever they're calling the company now, going for? I want to say it's like $5 or $6 for just a small box of pancake mix. And so for $10.66, you get a whole gallon and things. And then finally, and this is one of the reasons why I love Augustin Farms, is their milk. Their milk is the best. I've tried a number of different milks out there. Augustin Farms, hands down, has got the best milk out there. And right now, they really actually do keep this at a very, very low price, or keep it on sale prices often, because they push out the milk. But it's $16.78. And so Augustin Farms milk, if you're looking for dried milk, this is it. And then they also have chocolate milk, or basically, that stuff, Yahoo, the Yahoo chocolate mix, chocolate drink and everything. They have Yahoo, basically chocolate drink. And I want to say that's running somewhere around $17 for a number 10 can. But having things like that on hand, again, gives you variety, mixes it up a bit for you and your family and stuff. So, but Augston Farms, their drink mixes are really good. I noticed that their orange juice, and I don't have the link, but their orange drink is on sale, which basically is kind of tang, but it's actually tastes rather good. So, but really good stuff. I really encourage you to check out Augustin Farms and things. We've gone here for an hour and 15 minutes. So let's see here. Can you post the name of that book that you were talking about? Yes. Cynthia, do me a favor, post that link to the Marlene's Magic Food again. But let's see here. Patty Mac. I've used a few of Oxen Farm products. Liked it. I'm using Morning Moves in my milk for my protein. Yeah, more that stuff is great. And then Dale is saying Preppernet. Got it. Hominy grits for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Thomas, yes, you got it, bud. Chocolate milk. Cynthia says hot chocolate, cold out. Good. Preppernet. Do you have an affiliate link? Affiliate link for what? If you're buying all these products, yes. If you are using these links from Amazon, and please do, because I do make a little bit of money off of each sale, and so these are my affiliate links from Amazon and things. But these are things that we use, and so I totally believe in them. But use my affiliate links, please. And if you use the buy now, I won't make any money, or I won't make any money, and it's not going to raise the price to you or anything like that. It's just that's what the companies give all of us influencers, a cut of their money and things. So the price is not affected to you or anything, as you well know. But yeah, please use my Amazon links. Let's see here. Electronic survival. I have had some hot chocolate and candy bars stashed in my prep for the kids. Yeah, great morale boost. I totally agree. Electronics are, yes, morale is very huge. So so hopefully I've given you guys a lot of tips, a lot of information here. Think long-term storage, and think about the price of food is going to matter what. Food is an investment, and the more you have, again, would you rather buy a bag of rice at $2 versus $7? So why not buy a bunch of it at $2 so that down the road you're not having to buy it for $7? So look at it as an investment, and then look at some of these products like the Excalibur and the Wheat Mill and the Food Saver as investments as well, because these are things are going to pay you back. I know our dehydrator has, and I know that our Food Saver has, and our grain mill is definitely starting to pay us back. And so these things are great to have on hand, and I really encourage you to get these on hand as well. Again, use my affiliate links so that, and but all this stuff is going to help you in the long run, because this year is going to be crazy, folks. I kid you not. Already they're reporting 10%. It's going to be a lot crazier. And so prices, I think, are going to double and triple. I mean, they've already done that, but I think they're going to double and triple from what we've got already. I mean, I know our grocery bill has doubled, and it was very surprising to me when I went grocery shopping a couple months ago or a month ago, and it hit $300, and I was like, "Holy crap, man!" And it's just the same stuff I always buy. And so food is definitely doubled in price, and so I think it's going to double again. And what I'm truly fearful of is people literally being priced out of the food market. And it's sad to see a senior sitting there staring at the grocery thing, and all they can afford is peanut butter crackers and a can of sardines or something like that. But that's what's coming, and more people are going to be affected by this. But if you take action now and think long term, put in a garden and all these other things, then you're going to be able to be good, and you're going to see, you're going to augment that grocery bill, which then allows you resources and income to put in other areas and better your preps and do other things with. So really, really focus on your pantry. Make that your number one priority. And as much as the cool guy gear is out there and everything, like, ooh, wow, cool guy gear, avoid it. And and focus on your pantry. So any questions, real quickly? Anybody got any questions? Let's see. Michael Anderson says, I can't hear you. Um, let's see. Washington from Bay St. Louis. Cool. Let's see. Michael trying to refresh. Thomas, great minds, huh? NG, strong minds. So, any questions at all? Did I cover everything? Hopefully, these Saturday nights are helping you. I do these every Saturday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, and so same bat time, same bat channel. And today we went a little bit over. I usually try to keep these to an hour, but today we went a little bit over because we really were putting out a lot of information. I wanted to get this out to you, and so that you have time to act on this and do this. Now, folks, if you are new here and it's your first time here, please do me a favor, subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, and then ring that little bell there and get notified whenever I post a new video, and help me grow my channel. I'm like 4 people from 1,100 subscribers. And so I think I'm sitting at 1,096. And so 4 people out there, please go out and subscribe on my channel so I hit that 1,100 mark. But if there's any topics that you would like for me to cover or anything, and write me or put some comments below, and I'll be glad to do a show just on that topic. I'm focusing a lot on food right now because I think food is very important. I think a lot of people are going to be seriously affected by the rising prices, and so the faster we get on board with our food and getting our pantry in order and everything, the better. So Electron says Saturday night works great. Did you ever make pemmican? No, I have not made pemmican. I've been wanting to try that. It's just I don't have the berries or anything. Usually it's made with blueberries, actually. At least the recipe that I have. But I'd be interested to make it. And then also like dry tack. I've been interested in making some dry tack or some of these, your own, high calorie survival bars, which you can make, and then you stick it in your food saver, suck the air out of it, and you've got a long-term, high calorie, food source and stuff. Let's see here. Thank you, PrepperNet, and I appreciate it. And yeah, PrepperNet, folks, get on PrepperNet and go join them. They are doing a great job. I'm a member myself. I actually am part of the board of advisors and helping guide and everything like that. PrepperNet.net. I'm the city leader for the Salem Roanoke area, and we're going to start doing some meetings here. We started a meetup group. And so some of you may be in that meetup group or something, but we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff this year, a lot of fun training, a lot of education and other things like that. Let's see here. I would love to help you with communication, spread the word. Thank you, Electronic Survival. I appreciate it. Just picked up a whole hog yesterday from a local farmer. Good to go. I have to be honest, we're looking at something like that as well. We got a hog farm out here, and hog is, I don't know about you, but you can get a half a hog for about $300. That's a lot of meat. So, and then the bacon that they make, bacon, is incredible. Let's see, freezer Jenga. Yeah, been there, been there, done that. Sorry, my puppy pawed keyboard. Okay, Cynthia. But again, I really appreciate you guys being here tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully, this has been very beneficial to you. I don't want to sound like I've been hawking products, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm really trying to give you solutions. Trust me, I've been there, done that, and I just hate seeing people waste money and everything. If you have to go cheap, go cheap. I understand it, but if you can get the best thing now, buy once, cry once. Like what is Thomas said? Yeah, buy once, cry once, so that you're not, because it really sucks when like the stupid Broncos. I had a whole bunch of meat, firm, sitting in my Ziploc bag and in my marinade and everything like that. Plug the stupid thing in, and it broke. It burnt out. So don't call out, have to be buying these things. And then also another thing to do: check your Goodwills and Five and Dime or Salvation Army stores or Goodwill stores or everything. You'll start to find some of these dehydrators. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he found an Excalibur for $40 at the Goodwill. Still ran, even if it doesn't run The motors are cheap, or the knobs are cheap. You can buy them right there off the Excalibur site, and I think you can even buy them off of Amazon itself. But fixing an Excalibur is super simple, and this is why I hate digital and all these other things. One button on, off, and turn it up to temp. And so, look, we're going to raise chickens collectively. Great job, HT6. Yeah, that's a great idea. We're looking at chickens this year too. So with the rising cost of eggs and everything, chickens are a lot of fun. And when you're getting to almost $10 a dozen, then it's not that bad. And maybe I'll do a show on how we're going to be doing chickens or something. Once the springtime comes up, I'm hoping to do more shows outside and let you start seeing our garden, let you start seeing what we're doing and what's working for us and what's not maybe working for us as well. So but let's see, any questions at all? Anybody have any last minute questions or anything that I can answer here real quickly? Again, like, subscribe, and share. I need 3 more people to hit that 1,100 mark, and then just tell all your friends about the Kilter Prepper. And my website is raymondmhor.com, RaymondMondMhor.com, or thekilterprepper.com. So you can get there by both names, but check out my website and then sign up for my free newsletter. I've been sending out a lot of information, and then usually what I've been doing is sending out a free zip file on Wednesdays to all my newsletter people. So what I'm going to be doing for this week is, since tonight we were talking about food and food preparations and everything, I'm going to put together a zip file of food preps and how-tos and everything. So I put a lot of PDFs and documents and everything like that together and put it together as a zip file. And on Wednesdays, I zap that out to all the folks who are on my newsletters. So go to raymondmhor.com or thekilterprepper.com and look to the right-hand side, and you can sign up for my free newsletter. So everything on my website's free. So all I ask is that you use my Amazon links and help me grow that way. But that is everything. Anything else here? Stay away from commercial feed. Yeah. Um, yeah, when we start doing chicken stuff, I'll be talking about the commercial feed stuff. Y'all been seeing that too. So what we're looking at, it's made by Omelette, is these movable chicken coop / tractors. And Omelette has a really good product, and it's just a chicken coop. For us, it works because we're able to have 6 to 8 chickens in it, and then it moves around because we got a rather large backyard, and it's also sloped. So having a stationary chicken coop was not a good solution for us. So this movable tractor chicken coop is looking like it's a really good solution. It is on the expensive side, but when you look at the cost of wood, even if you're scavenging and everything like that, still the cost of wood and everything to put up a permanent or a standalone chicken coop I priced it out, and it's almost double of what we're looking at by this movable chicken coop and everything. So MHOR. Thank you, Cynthia. Are you? So anything else? I can think that's it. Having some good conversation going here, folks, and I really appreciate all you tuning in tonight. I appreciate all you from PrepperNet coming in and checking it out. I appreciate everybody just hanging out, having a fun time. Again, I am Raymond Mhor. I am the Kilter Prepper. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We're doing this every week. And if there's a topic that you want me to talk about next week, do me a favor, comment below and let me know. And we'll do a show just for you and things. So I've really enjoyed being here this evening with you guys. We went a little bit over time, but hey, that's fun. That's great. We've had a lot of fun here talking and doing some great conversation. You guys are just really doing it here. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate my wife, Cynthia, in the room here helping me out with links and everything, and doing a good job there too. So say hi to Cynthia. So wonderful wife. So we'll see you. So the Grinch, HT6, Cody. Oh, what do you know about Yukon Gold? TPS True Potato Seeds. I really don't know anything about Yukon Gold True Potato Seeds. I am more of a red potato person. But depending on what you want to do, you need to research off their uh, in indorminant or non-dormant. I forget what the term is, but indorminant potatoes like to grow in towers. So if you're looking at doing trash cans or towers or something, you need an indorminant or indominant. I forget the term. Versus dormant. So look what kind of potato seeds you got and what you're going to be doing. If you're just planting them in the ground, they're good to go. But indorminants like towers and they like garbage cans and other things like that. So, but thank you so much here. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Grinch. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, HT6. Thank you, PrepperNet. Let's see who else. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Michael. I'm just scrolling through here. But again, thank you so much for being here, tuning in. So I'm Raymond Mhor, Kilter Prepper. We'll see you. Goodbye. God bless. And kilt on.